we are going to announce the players of the week this week. It's very exciting for us to be able to do this on the show. It's a great time in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, and I'm going to be honest, we had a difficult time picking players of the week this week because there was a lot of great performances. But let's start. We'll start with the SJHL MVP of the week, and it goes to the Battleford North Stars forward Steven Kesslering, who had a great 2 games for the Battleford North Stars, 4 goals and an assist, and one of the top performers for the North Stars so far this season.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Steve Kesslering picks up a hat trick against the Notre Dame Hounds, follows up with another goal against the Melville Millionaires, but he's tied for the league lead in goals with 5. He's 1 behind Bryden Kiesman for the league lead in points with 7. Kiesman has 8. It was tough. There was a couple players you could have thrown out as runner-ups or right there. Noah Wills had a great year.
Noah Wills was outstanding, yeah.
But the Battleford North Stars haven't lost, and I think that maybe gives an edge. We talked about the waves of forwards for Battlefords, that it just consistently rolls 4. You stop one, the other one's going to break through. And I know that me and you, when we did SJHL Insider on Thursday, when we profiled the Battleford's North Stars, I said, I don't know why Steve Kesslering doesn't get more credit around this league. When you talk about Battlefords, you talked about, Southgate and Dole and their defense, and years back, Grzybowski, the goaltender. But Kesslering's been there the whole time.
He has,
and he does everything right. He's so fast. He'll hit you against the boards. He scores. He's always on the right side of the puck as well defensively. I don't think he gets talked about enough, so him winning the MVP of the week, maybe that'll help spur the momentum for Steve Kesslering, and I think he deserves it. 4 goals and an assist.
And I just want to point out something that you kind of just touched on. When it comes to the teams that are still undefeated in the SJHL, there's a common theme here, the depth.
Yes.
Waves after waves after waves. The Humboldt Broncos, obviously the Battleford North Stars, the Yorkton Terriers, Matt Hare mentioned that. Obviously, speak to that and how valuable that depth is for these teams that are obviously undefeated.
It makes line matching a nightmare for the opposing coaches, especially if it's a home game for the team that has the depth.
Yes.
Right, where the coach can get the last change. You never really know, you try to shut down, let's just take the Battleford North Stars, for instance, Southgate and Dole, like I said. Then comes Kesslering and Keaton Klein. They just acquired Kean Bell. It's just another offensive attack for the Humboldt Broncos. If you shut down Soretsky and Newens, then comes Ceccarelli and Zilke, then comes Xavier Roy, QMG. It's wears down opposing defenses.
Yep.
And, for guys that are playing 24, 25 minutes a game, if you still have 4 lines of forwards who, are going to be fresh throughout 60 minutes, and you still put your top defensive pairing out there, it can be tough. By the time 10 minutes left in the third period, you're getting that wave coming and coming. If it's a 1-goal game, it's tough to handle.
100%. All right, let's move to Defenseman of the Week. And we're going to stay with the Battleford North Stars and Wilson Steele. Battleford, like you mentioned, undefeated so far this year. A lot of great performances so far from them, and Wilson Steele's one of them. Yeah,
Wilson Steele, second-year Battleford's North Stars defenseman, and we talk about Jordan Grill and Tanner Gold and Tynan Ewert with the Battleford's North Stars defense, but Wilson Steele had 3 assists this week. He's got 4 assists in 4 games, a point per game. One of the hot starts from the blue liner. I won't be surprised. We got 56 games. I don't know how many weeks are in the season. 22 maybe or something like that for players of the week.
Yeah.
Battlefords might take half of them by the end of it. They just got so many blue liners.
We'll have to start keeping track.
Yeah, they might. They already started off with here 1 for 2, 50%.
Yeah.
And Wilson Steele with 3 assists deserves it.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to be one of the top teams this league. We've been talking about it. At the beginning of the season, they've proven it so far. They're going to be a tough team to beat so far this year in the SJHL.
Yeah, and it's always tough to pick, your players of the week. And you get so many performances.
Yeah.
So we do like to shout out others. Louis Frederick the Bears was close for the Melville Millionaires.
Yeah.
Jared Six for the Notre Dame Hounds had, I believe, 4 points in his couple games. So it was a tough one. But again, you got to win.
Yeah.
You got to win, and the Battleford North Stars haven't lost, so Wilson Steele will get it.
Well, at least people know that's kind of the tiebreaker for us. It's, did your team end up winning the games? They did? All right, then you have a good chance of being named Player of the Week. The next one, probably not going to be a surprise. SaskTel Goalie of the Week is Caleb Allen. We talked about him with head coach and GM Matt Hare. He has been unbelievable for them in between the pipes to start the season. And yesterday. He gets a 41 save shutout, and he also gets credited for a goal.
It's no surprise. It's definitely no surprise, but it wasn't without competition.
No,
and we'll get to that.
100%.
It was just Caleb Allen was that one step ahead. Was it the goal that helped him? I don't know. You can't take that away from him. It's on the stat sheet.
Yep.
He's got credit for the goal. But yeah, 41 save shutout. He's 4-0. He's played every game for the Yorkton Terriers.
Yep.
I know all of them weren't this week, but I know it could be demoralizing for a fan base. I'm sure the players in the dressing room knew who they had, but everyone in Yorkton maybe didn't. In Caleb Allen, when you lose Cale DePape, he won Rookie of the Year in the Viterra Division
100%.
last year. He was one of the best goaltenders in the league. And that could just be like, ooh, man, we had our guy. He was a young goaltender. Well, they found another one in Caleb Allen. Yeah, 41 save shutout. He's 4-0. He's got the second best save percentage in the league. He already has a goal. The Yorkton Terriers are allowing the least amount of goals per game with 1.7. So all the credit goes to him.
I mean, and watching that game yesterday, he just looked calm, cool, and collect. Like, Nipawin definitely had their chances to put the puck in the back of the net. They had a bunch of odd man rushes, but it seemed like nothing could face him in between the pipes.
Yeah, he's boring in between the pipes, which is what you want for a goaltender.
100%.
Right? He just absorbs the puck.
100%.
There's no secondary opportunity. He's always in position, moves to the top of the crease, cuts down angles. He's just sound, steady. And I mean, goalie scouts always say big and boring's good.
Big and
boring. Yeah, that's cool, man.
And especially if they got good hands and they can handle the puck and catch it.
Another compliment. I mean that too by saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, let's get to, you mentioned without competition, because I'll be honest with you. After that game, the first game yesterday between LaRange and Kindersley, I thought 100% we were going to be locking in Dawson Smith as goaltender of the week for the LaRange Ice Wolves, because he had 2 games this week. He allowed a goal in each game. He had that 44 save performance up in Flin Flon on Friday that I was at. He was unbelievable. And quite frankly, in my opinion, he stole that game. Unbelievable week for him, and he was unbelievable again yesterday.
He's kind of been a surprise for me in the league. Xavier Cannon, we talked about this in the first segment, played majority of the games last year for LaRange. He was one of the elite goaltenders, battled a little bit of injuries. When Dawson Smith came in, showed samples of being good, but also struggled in a few games.
Of course.
He had a couple bad games where he allowed 7, 6, 8 goals, right?
Right.
So I didn't know. And he comes in this year and he's proven that, one more year maybe of development. You talked to Kyle Schneider after their win yesterday, and he said no one works harder in the offseason. Yeah. No one worked harder in practice than Dawson Smith. So, yes, he's our runner-up this week because Caleb Allen just out-edged him. But, yes, he has surprised me. And, again, with his save percentage, what's he at? .952 on the season over the course of his games. He's going to be a big proponent for the LaRange Ice Wolves trying to get back into that playoffs.
And for me, I think with Dawson, the interesting thing is, you mentioned, obviously, Xavier Cannon went down last year. And I don't know if, when it comes to Dawson's development, if he would be where he is today without those games last year. Because he got into a lot of games last year as an 18-year-old essentially as a backup goaltender due to that injury.
I think getting a taste of any SJHL experience, even if it's a few games, is paramount to be able to understand the game, understand what you need to do, your commitment to your body, to your craft, to your practice in the off season. And I mean, hearing from Kyle Schneider and seeing what Dawson Smith's doing this year, it looks like he was probably one of the hardest workers in the league in the summer.
I think there was a lot of, obviously this year, there was a lot of unknowns, I think, in between the pipes
100%.
Across the league. A lot of new goaltenders. Dawson Smith was one of the few returning goaltenders, but he's definitely proved so far this year he's going to be one of the top goaltenders in the league this year.
We've lost so many of the big names.
100%.
Like
Cal Shell.
Race Ramsey, Cal Shell, Matt Pacenti and Kindersley, who I thought was a little underrated. Cale DePape, Xavier Cannon. We listed half the teams.
Boston
Billows, 7 teams out of 12.
Unbelievable.
New goalie.
So many new goalies.
And I mean, look it down the list. Josh Kotai's coming in for Battleford. 955. Harmon Laser Hume, right? He was in the league, but now he's on a new team for Flin Flon, replacing Cal Shell. 943. Caleb Allen, a 950. Dawson Smith, 952. The save percentages are crazy with these goaltenders that are coming in and really performing well.
Yeah, and shout out to Laser Hume, too, because in that Friday game against LaRange, he was also very good. I do believe he stopped 30 shots in that game, so it was unbelievable goaltender performance. All right, enough goalie talk. Finally, the Direct West Rookie of the Week. And this one, we are going to go to the Nipawin Hawks and Francois Xavier Bedard. Nipawin a 3-game week, 2 against Estevan, getting the split, and then the unfortunate loss to Yorkton. But Bedard outstanding this week for the Nipawin Hawks.
Yeah, FX. I love the abbreviation of his name, FX Bedard. Apparently, it's a more common name than I thought.
I had no idea.
It is. It's apparently more common, but he's one that's come in. I saw him as the Broncos played the Nipawin Hawks in the preseason.
Yeah.
And he's one that stood out, and he's small, he's shifty, he's cerebral, great little hands in tight, can work in and out of a phone booth of an area, and he's getting opportunities along the top 6 there for the Nipawin Hawks, which I think if you play with Kiesman or Dobson or any of those players that we know can generate offense, I think that, FX Bedard's had a strong week. Only a couple points, but there wasn't really any rookie that broke the door open this week. And
no, of course
FX
not.
Bedard just consistently proving that he's, one of the newcomers to watch this year.
And I think you touched on it really well there, is that he is going to get such a good opportunity with the Nipawin Hawks to play in that top 6 with some of those guys like you touched on, Kiesman, Buckberger, all that. And as a result, if they're going to play Tad Cozen hockey, they're going to be playing very fast, high-tempo games, and they're going to be putting a lot of pucks on net.
Nipawin Hawks had 16 goals coming into last night's game. They did get shut out to Caleb Allen, but they were 3rd in the league in goals for.
Yeah.
We know we're just used to 11 years of Doug Johnson with a smothering defense, right? Maybe not a lot of shots on net. You can win by 1. You have an elite goaltender. Tad Cozen, he hasn't gone away from the defensive structure.
Sure.
Don't. I'm not saying that at all. He still has it. He's learned that from a half a year with Doug, and
100%.
Obviously played for him with the Nipawin Hawks. It's the ability to combine that and still have a little more aggression up front, a little more attack in the attacking zone. And I think it's been proven. They're 2-2. They've beaten, or 2-3 now, but they've beaten some tough teams, and they were 3rd in the league in goals for. So they can do it. They can do everything.
Yeah, they're fast.
Yep.
They forecheck very well, and I think they're going to bounce back this year after a very tough year. They were very young last year too.
100%. It's a rebuild that it's maybe some people thought would take a couple years, right? Because they were so young and they didn't score really any goals. They were, they struggled. Let's face
100%.
it. So it's tough to rebuild that over the course of one summer. It seems like they brought in some really nice pieces. They're another team. They've lost both goalies from last year. Harmon Laser-Hume was traded out, and Chase Ham was also traded out.
Yeah.
So they got Reed Lalonde and McDowell in net, who I also saw in the preseason. I think they got 2 really good, capable goaltenders. Lalonde only allowed 3 goals, I guess. But basically, in my opinion, it was 1 against the Yorkton Terriers until the final minute of the game when Dalton May shot that point shot. He stopped 42 shots in that game. And, good goaltending. The defensive structure is going to be there from Tad Cozen, and with his little spice, putting in a little more offensive attack on it. I like Nipawin, man. I like Nipawin. Don't doubt him out.
Yeah, I talking to some of the people when I went up there for their home opener and they saw the first game. It's definitely a different style of hockey that they're used to, but they're definitely not complaining because it's definitely an entertaining brand of hockey. So in recap for Players of the Week, the SGU MVP of the week, Stephen Kessler for the Battleford North Stars, 4 goals, 1 assist, like you mentioned, Rory. Defenseman of the week, Wilson Steele, also from the Battleford North Stars. SaskTel Goalie of the week, no surprise, Caleb Allen allowing 1 goal, shutout. He had a goal, unbelievable. Can't ask for much more. And then, of course, the Direct West Rookie of the Week is Francois Xavier Bedard. So there are your Players of the Week for the SJHL as of yesterday. These next 3 days of the showcase, and then the rest of the week will be for next week's Players of the Week.